live with Sirius Migration. We bring latest immigration updates and news with changes to you every Thursday at 3 p.m. My name is Isuru Yapa. I'm an Australian registered migration agent here from Sirius Migration, and I've got right next to me Miss Rebecca Huang. She's an Australian registered migration agent as well. All the MARN numbers displayed there.
Yeah.
Rebecca's taken a long week off last week.
Yes.
She wasn't feeling well, and we had the
lockdown
as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about, and we have advertised few topics to talk about. So as usual, what we will be doing is we'll talk about some of the topics like general skill migration and business visa updates and what's happening out there, and then a bit of GTI and also the work visas, and some of our predictions and news to come and news out there. So if you're someone who's joining us for the first time, please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button, or if you're coming to us through Facebook, please hit the like button. Bit of housekeeping before we start the session. If you have any question during this session, whether you're coming from Facebook or YouTube, please do not hesitate to put your question or your concerns on the comment section down below, and we will endeavor to answer as many questions as possible within the given time. So we will explain you these new updates for a little while, and then we'll come back and answer your questions. And if it's a question or if it's a scenario that takes too long, we will probably invite you to book an appointment with us or talk outside of the session, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about general skill migration first, because general skill migration's got a lot of new updates, and then we also want to demystify some of the myths and facts and clear it out.
Yeah.
So Rebecca, I don't know, maybe if you talk about
with
Queensland, what do you think? We were supposed to get
open in September next month, so I don't think there will be a big change for Queensland state nomination. So from previous requirements are 190 if you have at least 6 months working experience in your nominated occupation in Queensland, and then you believe you are employed in those target sectors, for example, hospitality, aged care center or hospital, or construction company, then you will be able to lodge your Queensland state nomination through BMSQ. And for 491, if you're employed in a regional area for at least 3 months, or if you have a small business in regional area for at least 3 months, then you will be able to apply for 491 with
So for
Queensland.
The applicants talking to us from offshore, or if you don't know much about the general skill migration background, general skill migration is for skilled individuals to migrate to Australia with your own independent skills. So it goes through a point test, and minimum requirement is for you to be under 45 years of age, and you need to have minimum of IELTS 6 in each band, or similar in a PTE exam or a TOEFL exam. And you need to have a skills assessment nominating an occupation out of the ANSCO, which is eligible to be applied through one of those programs. So Australia's got 6 states and 2 territories. Am I correct? Yes, 6 states and 2 territories. And so if you fulfill the general skill migration requirement, you will be eligible to go into 189 category. But is everything okay? Sounds wise. So when you get, sorry, we had a bit of a sound problem earlier.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's all been sorted.
Yeah.
So with the 190 program and 491, 190 is state permanent residency. So as soon as you 189, 190 gives you Australian permanent residency. There's not many attachments. You and your family can come and live and work in Australia.
Residence.
Correct. And then 491, by the way, gives you 15 points from the nominating state. But it's not a permanent residency.
It's temporary residence.
It's temporary resident. It gives you 5 years of temporary residency, but you need to be living and working in regional area for minimum of 3 years. Then you can get your permanent residency in Australia after 3 years under 191 category.
Yeah.
So lately we've been talking about states 190, and the difference is each state's got their own program. They'll say these are the list of occupations that are lacking in our state, and we would like to support you guys. For 190, these are the set requirements of being eligible for this program. So some states would say you'll have to at least be studying in our state for 2 years before you can get our sponsorship to migrate to our state. Or they'd also say you need to at least be working in our state for 1 year or 6 months for 491 category, or etc. So even though 189 is always been open, they have only several invitations per year.
Yeah.
And most of the states, they open up the invitation rounds 4 times a year,
4 times.
most likely. So this financial year, after 1st of July, most of the states gave their program for 2021 and 2022. So at the moment, we know what's their program for certain states. These are what we've been mostly talking about. New South Wales already put out their criteria.
And there is some new change for New South Wales.
New South Wales, where they
as well. Yeah.
Maybe you can talk about the new changes to New South Wales.
Yes. So with New South Wales, 190 permanent resident pathway, there's not big change, but the residency requirement has lifted to minimum 3 months in regional area of New South Wales, or if you have a job offer in New South Wales regional area, then this minimum 3 months can be waived. And then for 491, they have introduced new 3 streams from 491 category. So stream 1 will be for those candidates living and working in regional area for at least 12 months. And then stream 2 will be for those candidates who complete the study in regional areas of New South Wales. And of course, those occupation must on their regional occupation list. It's different with the 190 occupation list. And then stream 3 is the most exciting part. I believe most of our interstate applicants will be interested with that stream. You can be anywhere of in any states of Australia. So if you have your occupation list on this regional occupation list, then you will be able to apply for 491 New South Wales.
So last year for 491 and 119 New South Wales, the requirement was for you to be residing in New South Wales. There was no minimum requirement, so you could just move in and then get your application as long as you can prove your residency status. But right now it has been lifted. You need to be living in New South Wales for at least 3 months. unless you have a job offer, then that can be waived, but then you still have to be there.
Yes.
491 has 3 different categories. Schedule, do they call it Schedule 1, 2, 3? Yes.
Stream 1, 2,
Stream
3.
1 through 2, 3, because different states. Schedule brings
Yeah.
us to what? Western Australia,
Western
right?
Australia, yeah.
So Western Australia again has another wonderful program.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've seen this much relaxed,
Yeah.
straightforward, transparent migration program. So with Western Australia, there is no residency requirement. So you could be a graduate or been living or working in elsewhere in any other states, but you can still be part of this program and get an invitation. Tasmania, again, as usual, they come up with the most wonderful skill migration program. They always have good options for 190 as well as 491. They have 5 different categories for 491. One of the most beneficial but complicated one is the South Australian one, right?
Yes, very
South
complicated.
Australia, they have a really good system, but for our clients, for you to understand, if you have a certain occupation, the best way to find out about how you can be qualified or what options you may have is maybe to visit the South Australian official site.
Yes.
We mostly do it.
Yeah. I believe South Australia state government is very in detail and very responsible with every occupation.
So with every occupation, they give you a good mud map of what qualifications and what are the protocols.
What options for them. Even the offshore applicants now can apply. Just name a few occupation like bricklayer, carpenter, or occupational therapist. So there are some offshore occupations are actually open. So
bricklayers, carpenters, occupation therapists, that sort of occupations. I mean, be in touch with us. We'll give you a list. So it goes to. Sorry, we couldn't do one of those fancy slides for you, but it's bricklayers, stonemason, carpenter and joiner, carpenter, joiner, floor finisher, painting trade workers, so painters, decorators, glaziers, fibrous plasters, solid plaster, roof tiler, wall and floor tiler, automotive electrician, motor mechanic, sheet metal trade worker, welder, fitter, panel beater, medical diagnostic radiographer, occupational therapist. If you're qualified in any of these, and if you carry a skills assessment, then you can probably, even though you're offshore, you can probably try apply for these categories from offshore as well. So it is time, if you don't have a skills assessment, it's time for you to contact a registered migration agent with experience in the area, so you can start your migration process through that. As long as you have the points stack up, we will put a link down below in the description, linking to our website where we have a point test. So it will ask you several questions and tell you where your points are sitting. So you need to have minimum of 65 points with IELTS 6 in each band and a skills assessment. So maybe time to get some skill assessment done and get ready. And one other good things, like talking about highlights of each state, is one good thing Tasmanian government brought up is they took out the Section 48.
Oh, yes.
So even if you have Section 48, I know most of my clients or my viewers know what Section 48 is. I talk to you frequently about it. So if you have an onshore visa cancellation or refusal while you're in Australia, if you have a cancellation, either way you're going to get a Section 48. But if you have a refusal while you're in a unsubstantial visa, we also call bridging visa, then you'll be subject to Section 48, which restrict you from applying for certain other visa applications. So
and of course, during this COVID travel restriction, you cannot go offshore, apply for a visa.
Yeah.
That's gonna make you very hard to come back.
So
without permanent residence.
time
Yeah.
back when you have that sort of scenarios,
Yeah.
we used to advise if their points are stacking up or if their qualifications stacking up, we used to tell our clients to apply, get an invitation and go offshore, apply for it, come back, or get the visa and then come back, sort of thing. With the travel restrictions, what's happening is the clients can't go out to apply and come back, because what it restricts is for you to apply for another visa onshore or certain visas offshore. So pretty much if you're offshore, it is hard for you to still apply for temporary visa if you're carrying a Section 48. So bridging visas and Section 48s and certain bars like PIC 4020, PIC 4010, that sort of bars can make you confused and get you frustrated. So it is always good to be in touch and talk to an experienced migration agent about it. So what other so we talked about most of the states, and again ACT also has small business owner introduced. So that's the highlight in ACT, what I see. Talking with the government, though, participate in their seminars and talking to them directly about certain scenarios. What I understood with ACT, though, it depends on you need to be qualified through the skills and the point test, and they also again put you through the matrix. Matrix is a scary, beautiful thing.
Have their own ranking system.
It's you go through a whole set of hurdles now, and then you come back and think, oh, I'm ready to go, and then you jump into the matrix, and then it's a totally different point system. So you need to have again 65 points in the matrix, but matrix is more concerned about how beneficial are you and what sort of attachments you have to ACT, whether you have studied and lived there, or do you have your families living there, and do you have your partners living there, or you have your uncle, parents, whoever lives there, or have you worked in there. So you get points for it. 491 Small Business Owner is a wonderful program that government introduced. Please do not get confused with the 188 business visa categories. I'm going to introduce a brand new video series that we're working at the background right now. So talking about 491 SBOs and 188 business categories, the main difference is you do not have to have a massive business background to go into this visa. They don't look at your past turnover or your skills. All you need is your 65 points or your 50 points by yourself. You only need 50 because the state allows you 15 points. So once you get that, at the moment there is 3 491 small business owner categories or 491 small business owner options going on in 3 different states, which is the pioneer at the moment, or always been, is Queensland, because they had a wonderful program for 491 small business owner, and Tasmania, it's another good one, a little bit different to Queensland. But Canberra came up with this wonderful one, because earlier you were supposed to go and buy a business, and Canberra came and said, you don't have to buy one, you can come and establish one. So you don't have to pay $100,000 poke out of your pocket to set up buy a business which was established for at least a year or two. So in Canberra you can just go start your own
business.
But then again, remember, I've spoken to quite a few clients from especially Melbourne who's completed their accounts, and they're having difficulties looking at another options to see which one to go for. Even though you go there, set it up and bring your turnover, they only look at your turnover up to 200,000. So they don't look at whether you spend money to buy a business. If you then go into Canberra, set it up, then you will also have to fulfill the matrix. So get familiarized with the matrix before you go and start spending money setting up a business, because after all you might be back to point zero otherwise. So again, a beautiful 491 small business owner category in ACT, most beneficial for people who are already in there. So if you have graduated, or if you lived in or worked in ACT, make sure you check your background before you go in, and you don't have to be qualified, have to have turnovers or assets requirements for this. With the Tasmanian 190 categories, talking with them, Tasmanian government would like you to, if you're currently on a 482 work arrangement or temporary skills shortage visa, or 482 visa, or a 494 visa in Tasmania right now, they would like to get an acknowledgement or a consent from your employer when you apply for your 491 and 190, because they don't want to be to overstep to whatever your arrangements you have currently with your employer. So we went around Australia for a bit. Is NT's out?
NT.
I actually couldn't check. I'm sorry, I couldn't check. I haven't really done much with NT's new updates. So if you need any support with NT, be in touch. NT's always have a lot of beneficial categories, but NT also has the requirement, residence requirement.
Yeah.
So if you studied or if you lived, then there's a lot of opportunity for you in NT or Darwin surrounded areas.
Yeah.
Coming back to Brisbane, Queensland's always got really good programs coming up. So to give you a good guideline, there is not the Queensland 491 and 190 or general skill migration state sponsored visa is not yet open. We were expecting for them to open up the invitation round on end of July, early August, but they have now officially announced that they're not going to do anything until first week of at least early September, which is another good thing though, because it gives you more time to get established, get yourself ready for these programs. It will always be a good guideline to follow what they had last time. So I don't expect an adverse change for 491 small business categories unless they make it easier, or even if they make it tougher or different changes. I would expect Queensland government will tell anyone who acquired the business after this date, then this will be your category, because that's how they've been doing it for last years. So the qualification for 491 small business owner in Queensland is you need to have 50 points by yourself, and then you need to come in. There used to be no resident requirement for you to come and acquire the business, but you need to come and buy a business and operate it for 6 months in a regional area by paying $100,000. It has to be the capital purchase price, not the stock value. And as usual, you need to fulfill the government requirements, federal government's requirements, such as IELTS 6, 45 or younger, etc., etc. And as long as you acquire the business, operate it for 6 months, then and if you have those points, then you can pretty much be qualified for this program. So this is the best, in my opinion, 491 small business owner in Australia if you have $100,000 behind you.
Yeah.
But one other good thing though, there is no requirement for you to have that $100,000 all by yourself.
Yeah.
You can come and borrow it from Rebecca in a good arrangement. Don't pay too much interest.
Interest rate 10%.
Yeah, see, maybe she meant it. I don't know. So that's your skill migration updates around Australia. And if you need any support, don't wait till the program opens to start your skill migration or preparing yourself to these applications. It is now the time to for you to get prepared and plan your permanent residency pathways, because when they open, they'll only be open for a few days, and you need to quickly get yourself. And most of our clients, they're ready to go. Their applications are drafted. It's a matter of just pressing the button for us, for our clients, because we get them all dressed up, ready to go, so they don't miss out.
Yeah.
And saying that, so if you're in Queensland, get ready right now.
Yeah, we currently have this no invitation, no fee campaign.
Yeah. So how does that work?
If you think you're eligible and you're in Queensland, basically we will have no charge for the invitation if you don't get invited through Queensland state government.
So I know in the advertisement circulating, it says 65 points there. It's 65 points including the state points. So 50 points by yourself. State will give you 15 points if you are eligible. So whether you're going for 491 SBO or 491 190, this is all applicable. And also with 491 clients, we want to we don't tell them just go and buy it and come back in 6 months. We always give them a guideline from get-go of the application acquisition process. So we're not qualified accountants or commercial lawyers to give you advice on how to buy your business, but we can guide you through whether your activity in acquisition of a certain business, once you find out which business you're going to buy, it is going to be suitable for you for your visa purposes. So we work on a set fee, and we will guide you all the way through, because we want when we help, we want you to see a green light at the end, not a red light. So and because it's got commercial arrangements, and also you get to sign leases, and it's more complicated and more comprehensive than a normal activity. We will be your partners all the way if you're going through 491 small business owner category. It is not our expertise to go and find a business for you. You have to find what's the good business for you, suits to you, and then we will guide you how to fix that into your business. So that's all about general skill migration, I guess. The difference between general skill migration and 188 visa categories. 188 visa is for more matured business people. So regardless whether you're currently in Australia or you're offshore in anywhere in the world, if you have a business background, if you have been operating a business for at least within last 5 years, and if you could demonstrate that your minimum turnover, that's a good one, Mario. Minimum turnover is $750,000 per annum for at least 2 years, and you have assets between yourself, your wife, and or your partner, or and your business company itself, adding up to $1.25 million, then you can go into 188A visa, where you come in, you get a visa for 5 years, and you come and open up a business whenever you find the feasibilities and suitability is there. And within the 5 years, you operate it for 2 years, and then you can apply for, as long as you fulfill the requirement, then you can apply for the permanent residency through 888. And with the new visa, after you getting 5 years, if you could not still fulfill this, you can still apply for an extension for 2 years. So you will be hands-on. You'll be working in the business with your family. If you have kids, they can go to school for public schools for free. There's no charge. You can accompany the whole family with you, yourself, your partner, your kids, all can come. That's for 188A visa, where you get to get your hands dirty and be in the business. Or if you think you're an investor who can invest yourself, invest $2.5 million into Australia, there is no experience required in business, so they won't be looking at your turnover. All that they look at is your asset background and your investor background, and whether you can take out $2.5 million. So once you get the visa, come to Australia, then you'll be you'll have to invest the $2.5 million in different ways. Mario, can we quickly put that chart? So this is how you should go: 20% in venture capital and private equity, 30% in emerging companies, and the rest in the balancing investments. And yeah, we'll hit that too. And then similarly, if you can invest 5 million, then again you don't have to show your business turnovers and balance sheets, etc. But if you have the capacity to invest $5 million, then you can apply through significant investor category. In my opinion, the biggest difference in the two is mostly your residency requirement is a lot lower in significant investor rather than investor in 188B. So 188B used to be $1.5 million government bonds earlier. So clients or prospective clients, we do not have that option anymore. So you can't just put the money into government bonds and expect to get a permanent residency after 4 years anymore. But if you're one of those clients who have already received an invitation before 1st of July and you have already applied for the visa, then you will still be qualified through this, and we have a few clients in the pipeline.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. So the difference between 188 category is you need to have a business or investment background. For 188 category, 491, you do not require to have a business category, business experience, but you need to be qualified through General Skill Migration Point Test. So let's have a quick chat on GTI, Global Talent Independent. There's not many latest news or latest changes out there, but I would like to, I'm putting out a video, Mario, is it coming out today or tomorrow? Very soon. We will be discussing, so for you to be eligible for Global Talent Independent Visa, first thing is you need to set yourself up into one of these categories. If your expertise if you're a global expert who's working in any of these categories, resources, agri-food and technology, what you can see on the screen, any of those 10, and also if you're currently either making 158,500, which is the Australian high income threshold right now, or if you have the ability to demonstrate that you can make that money in Australia or by a way of job offer or salary surveys or someone's certifications, or if you're a recent PhD holder, then then also you need to have a nominator who can nominate you. It has to be another prominent person in the same sector as you are, who is an Australian company, Australian prominent company or recognized company in that sector, or an Australian citizen or permanent resident who's prominent in that sector, or a peak body from your industry sector. So if you fulfill those categories, there's no age limits. But if you're younger than 18 or older than 55, you have to show exceptional skills and talents, how you can, why you are a good talent to Australia. This program is designed for post-pandemic economic recovery as well. So Australia is expecting you to come and start up new businesses or start up new positions, new departments who create more job opportunities for Australians.
Yeah.
So this is a fast-track visa program. I will go deep in the next video coming up into each section and give you a little bit more further breakdown in each sector, what other subsectors could be within there, but it's not limited to those. You can if you can think of something else related to it. And also one thing I would like to point out, most of our clients who I talk to in GTI, I talk to many GTI clients daily basis. Majority of them, their skills fit into more than one target sector, which is okay, which is fine. Then we have to pick the most prominent, and then we can also explain where it can be fitted earlier. Like one of the good examples I looked at is if your target sector is so I spoke to someone quite up high in the ladder. He was a project coordinator and / investor in energy projects. He could have been by the outset of it, he could have been well suited for energy, because his expertise are in setting up waste to energy, incinerated energy projects around the world, up to 10 megawatt, 20 megawatt power plants by waste to energy categories. But he can also be considered under circular economy. So there's two sectors that he can work on. So in that case, depending on what sort of expertise he's got, we can then pick one or more categories. So if there's any global talent independent visa inquiries you may want to clarify, be in touch. We're happy to share our knowledge and work through with you and guide you the best suited visa for you. Let's have a quick look at the 482 categories and the work visa categories. PMSOL got lifted by another 3 new occupations that we spoke about last week. Talking about priority migration skill occupation lists and also skill migration. Right now, I was listening to a lot of, I was reading through a lot of publications and cabinet discussions, and also the news discussions about general skill migration lately. There is a major lot of temporary residents or temporary skill residents left Australia during the pandemic to spend their time together with their families overseas, or they didn't want to continue without certain incentive packages that they've got extended. So what also created was a massive skill void in Australia, and to fulfill this with the restrictions upholding these days, with the international borders closed, there is a lot of discussions going around to incentivize the people who's already in Australia, who are already working in these sectors. So there'll be lots of programs coming through. If your occupation is in one of these primary migration skill occupation list, which is displaying on the screen right now, even if you're overseas, if you have an employer who's willing to extend an offer or a nomination for you to come and work in Australia, your visa will be processed in a priority manner, in an expedited manner. So within matter of my experience, 8 to 12 weeks, 2 to 3 months, and also you can apply for travel exemption to travel. There is, believe me or not, currently there are 8,000 job vacancies around Australia for chefs.
Wow.
And over majority of there are quite a few job vacancies available for veterinary specialists too. So likewise, there are a lot of these lists are created by getting industry consultations from all sorts of government agencies. So when you go through this, you'll be able to get a good guideline. What are the most demanded job opportunities in Australia right now? So work visa related, whether it's there are so many different work visa pathways from Mario, can we 482 to 494, 186. So there are good and bad things in each visa categories. There are permanent skill pathways. Depending on your background, we just have to find out where can you be suited best for which visa, and which will be the most beneficial visa under your circumstances, and also which visa the employer is willing to sponsor you under. Like when you apply for a work visa in Australia, the main part is you need to have a sponsoring or nominating employer. They are bound by certain requirements and certain rules and regulations, and so are you. So it depends on depending on your commitments and skills and experience. It all depends on which sector that you might be sponsored under. So if you are an employer who's looking for employees, employees anywhere from Australia, please be in touch. We can probably introduce you to list of people that we are currently known to. Or if you're an employee, or if you're a skilled individual who's got a set of experience in any of the occupations, looking for visa options, and if you have an employer, be in touch. We will be able to give you better guidelines, which will be your most suited visa. We have supported quite a few tourist industries, mechanical industries, employers and employees around regional and also metropolitan employers and employees. So if you have any work visa related matters, talk to us directly. We will guide you through what can be the best suited pathway for you. There is no this is not a point-based test. So sometimes, especially students who study in Australia, they get confused by the point-based system and point-based test to skill migration, work visa. So if you have skills and working experience, these are the best way. Actually, if you don't have, we haven't got 408 in there. So training visa, 407. Sorry.
407.
So depending on your skill level, work experience, English, and occupation, you might be suited in different ways. So this is sort of the mud map in our head when you come and talk to us. So if you have any employee work visa related matters, give us a bell. We'll give you individual guideline. As usual, we have already gone past the recommended time by our team. We had a serious discussion that we're going to stop at a certain point, and but we haven't done it. So we'll skip through as
with some questions here.
Some questions. So let's go to YouTube quickly and answer some. Rohit Sharma, good morning and good evening from this way. Warren, hi Warren, this is no Brenda, this is Rebecca, but I know you. How are you again? Been a while. It's been a week since we spoke to you last. Yeah. So Rebecca, yes. So Warren's one of our regular visitors.
Yes.
And he's looking for options for sales and marketing. And we need to talk to someone in North Queensland. Because up North Queensland, they have good programs for sales and marketing. Dharma program. Yeah. So you can, but they're looking at serious sales and marketing with marketing teams under you with certain job categories. Then you'll have better options. So I just got lost in the questions. So Warren, be in touch. Thanks for coming back again. We'll be keeping an eye. In the meantime, keep applying for jobs. You might have a better option comes through.
Rohit Sharma.
Yesterday
I received my medical and PCC from department. Please tell after submitting medical and police clearance time of processing 482 visa.
Are you currently offshore or onshore? Maybe couple of weeks. So I have experienced a little delay in getting the medical updated. I don't know if anyone else experienced that, but it takes a little while. Once normally when you get the FIR or further information request, then I experience sometimes you might get a response after that final date. Deadline. In a week or so after that. So you should hear back very soon for chefs in priority. So
yeah. Sorry.
So welcome back, Rohit. Jyoti Gusain, hi team, did the Masters in Accountancy and have 75 points and living in Melbourne at the moment. What is the best option for me? Jyoti, I think accounting, it all depends on your personal experience and exposure as well, whether you're currently working, what other background you have. It's not just points, because 75 points, I can't say yes or no, but in my experience 75 is not quite there for you for especially accounting. But depending on what sort of work experience, are you related to one of the target sectors, etc. as well, give us a call and book us in for a migration PR pathway program. So we'll have we'll explore into your background a little bit more. So Yash, 190 ICT work experience. So Preet, can I do professional year from Tasmania, now in New South Wales? Now I'm in New South Wales. You should be working in engineering or accounting or IT. I can't see why not. It might be a good option too, but maybe give us a bell. We can give us a call or send you details to admin@sirius.com.au or education@sirius.com.au. We will give you a free consultation, Preet, to see if you are proper suited for or what's the end result and what will be the best plan, and then maybe we can help you with enrollment as well at no extra cost to you, and we might be able to get you a scholarship as well. Yash K, New South Wales 190 ICT work experience. They are saying can't consider post-study assessment. Kind of confused here. Can you explain that clearly? If my skill assess is done via professional year for work experience, I need assess again or not? So, sorry, Mario. So again, you cannot provide an ACS post-Australian study assessment if you are claiming points for employment.
Employment points, that has to be post
qualification.
study,
Yes.
experience, which means for those employment points, it has to be after you complete your degree from your IT subjects. For those employment will be counted into employment points for skill migration.
Yes, sometimes you can use the employment points while you're studying or working. Studying if you had a bachelor's degree directly related, but if you're currently studying masters, but if you had a bachelor's degree or bachelor's degree if you're currently studying, then you're not doing qualified or skilled work, so that won't be counted towards your 5 points. Hello World is sign up form vaccination accepted in Australia. Sign up form. So this is a frequently asked question. A lot of clients are asking Pfizer, Sinopharm, and AstraZeneca. There is no directed guidelines that we have received in this relation. I know I've taken a Pfizer vaccination. Have you taken one?
I haven't got the invitation.
Oh, okay.
Probably I'm too young.
Okay. Don't tell how old you are. See, viewers, now we know Rebecca Street. So yeah, in
There's
Australia,
no certain rules for the vaccination for the border.
a lot of people they like when I spoke with my vaccination place, what they said is if you're below 60, they recommend you Pfizer. If you're above 60, AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca also has extended risk of blood clotting for young people. So that's what they told me. I don't know. I'm a migration specialist or a consultant, not a medical. But so there is no impact at this stage in this. And Radhika Bandari. We would love to see when the border is going to be open. I think it is. Look, it's a broad question. If you're, let's go into the borders open question. If you're talking about the borders going to be open as it used to be without any travel restrictions or letting other people into Australia, we don't know yet. It can be some people got scared and I had many calls and emails asking Mr. Yapa, what's this information all about? They're not going to open the borders till 2024 or 25 or something ridiculous, which can be correct depending on the definition of opening the borders. So it might be 2024 25 for people to be open as it used to be, but in a way, borders are already open for certain clients. So certain business visitors, they already open. If you're in priority migration skill occupation list and you have a work visa, it's open as in you need to apply for a travel exemption and you need to go through the quarantine process, but you can still come in. If you're a student, they're working through the program. So for international students, I don't think it'll go too long. Within matter of months, I think New South Wales were about to start this wonderful program, and unfortunately, New South Wales is going through quite a tough time with this Delta variant, and they're trying to balance it or stable the situation. Once they get that established, then they might start and
step by step.
If we deliver all the required documents to 190 state skilled nomination, how will we get invitation? Do they usually approve or turn down the applications because of the current situation? 190, did she which state? Doesn't matter, right? So 190 currently Tasmania and
New South Wales.
New South Wales, do they have one for offshore?
You
didn't
this clients offshore at the moment? If you're offshore, South Australia
or Tasmania
are open for offshore applicants.
Yeah, so it's if you're onshore currently, then you're not getting it turned down. You'll probably be listed. If you don't get selected through this round, you'll probably be there for the next one. Skill select program, once you put your expression of interest, you're there for 2 years. So depending on the particular state application, it might take time in, and you might want to sometimes put another application depending on the occupation and the program. So Santosh Kumar,
could you please provide your thoughts on updated travel exemption for Indian travelers? Is it effective now? Earlier there were 5 points under which you could travel.
It is still 5 points there, like what sort of background, depending on whether you're a Indian citizen or Indian permanent resident, and if you're in priority list, etc. It is still there, and there is a good guideline in the Home Affairs site. If you need any guidance, let us know. But there is definitely good information in Home Affairs site. I think Mario, can we put the link in there so everyone can go and check it out? So you already done it. Okay. Horse trainer
is not in priority list from
4482.
It's not on the priority list.
No, it is not. Sorry, I think if you can put Danish Ali, horse trainer is not, maybe PMSOL. No, to your right.
PMSOL.
Yeah. So these are the only priority list. So which means there's a bigger requirement or a better requirement for this occupation in Australia.
It doesn't mean that your visa will not be granted even your occupation is not on the priority list. They will still assess your application.
It might take a little longer than the PSMOL list occupations.
Yes.
So we'll go back into the questions again. Although Renaldi Diaz, although LMT testing is not required for 186, does it still help to conduct it is for a better chance of applicational approval? It is actually recommended to do LMT now for 186 as well. So it doesn't tell you have to run it through job seeker site for 28 days, but you need to do a bit of an LMT for 186. So it is required to do. Rohit Sharma, offshore. So I think Rohit's question was chef, I think.
Chef,
right? Yeah. So Yeah, so you'll be granted soon. I think, yeah. Pradeep Dulal, how many points for registered nurse for New South Wales?
I think 90 point plus.
90 points? I've seen 75 to 80. Yeah.
Priority.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it depends on whether you have a job as well, Pradeep. If you have a job opportunity, job already in New South Wales, especially in regional New South Wales, nurses are in hot list. And yeah. Sunita Josephs, also the nurses, if you're currently a registered nurse looking for job opportunities, there are plenty of jobs, and we have a number of employers contacting us for registered nurses and introduction. So be in touch. We might be able to introduce you, but we cannot guarantee we're not direct job recruiters in that regards. When can invite be expected for ICT business analyst at 90 points for 190 from offshore? 90 points is not bad, but being offshore, we don't have
many options.
Yeah, so you might have to keep going. Try out the Tasmanian and South Australian. And see what will come out. Maybe, I don't know, whether Queensland might come up with an offshore. You have an approval.
No.
Sorry. Experience after masters. So Yash is, if you maybe Yash, send us your CV with your qualifications. We'll look individually into your application and give you a bit of a guideline on it. COVID onshore is good if you're currently, what was
482 visa.
Yes.
Yeah, onshore. That's good.
That's good. Lalpreet Singh, good morning, sir, ma'am. I'm motor mechanic and I have positive skill assessment, but due to COVID-19, I could not proceed with further process, so I can expect that I will get offshore nomination. Or else, Lalpreet, try applying for jobs.
Yeah.
You might have a better option that way too. Renaldi Diaz, thanks for going through my question. When I apply for 186 visa with my partner as a dependent, do I first have to approve before my partner can apply based on the new partner rules? So depending on what's your relationship, either you're married or you're in a de facto, and if it's long enough, but I would put 186 application all together.
Yeah.
Why do it separately? Because then you have to go through the spouse visa.
Like charge more.
Yeah, separately, and also the time. It can take another couple of years before you can be granted. You're welcome, Yash. Thank you. Look forward to be in touch. Vinay Kumar, thanks for always keeping us updated. Thanks very much, Vinay. Appreciate your comments. If there's any Facebook, quickly, so we'll round up today's session now. It's taken hour and a bit, but
Still okay.
Still okay. We're here to share our knowledge. It just encourages us to always share our knowledge. This is not a specific purpose. We just want to share our knowledge and experience with you guys every Thursday. So if you haven't subscribed, or if you know any friends and families who's needing migration advice or support, please share our links and information. We can always be there for you for their migration requirements. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button. If you haven't liked our channel yet in Facebook, like it. If you have any question, type it down below and we will endeavor to get in touch. All our is it pointing the right way? All our contact details are right down below. Phone number is 13000 747 87. If you're calling from overseas, maybe try that mobile number.
0450 674 787.
But if it's an urgent matter, always try to call through 13000 number. But if you're calling from offshore, number is +61 for country. 7 is the state code. So 617-3361-8177. Admin@sirius.com.au also is a really good way to be in touch with us. We get many inquiries. If you haven't got back to you yet until you get registered and allocated a migration agent for your subject, you won't have a dedicated person. So if you in the prospect list, and if you have send us an inquiry and we haven't got back to you, please do not hesitate to pick up the phone and let us know, so we will get back to your scenario right away. Thank you very much for joining us today. We hope to see you all next week again, 3 o'clock on Thursday, every Thursday, to share our knowledge in migration updates and news.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take
Bye.
care.